Do we need to rethink this whole Max Holloway sitting out to fight the winner of Volkanovski Ortega? I mean, I feel like maybe we need a deep breath and maybe that was a knee-jerk reaction. There's a lot of really good 45-pounders. I realize Zombie's coming off a loss. Zombie can protect himself. Zombie can handle Max. I'm not suggesting he beats him. What I'm suggesting is Zombie's the rough guy. Yair is going to be back before you know it. Not enough time for this story. Zabit is eligible right now. I mean, I'm just naming for you off the top of my head some very rough guys who can protect themselves at all times. And as I say, we need to rethink this. I mean, hear me out on this. Okay, we're gonna save Max. We're gonna put Max on ice, and we're gonna put him against the winner of Volkanovski Ortega. Have you played that through if there's an upset and Ortega wins? Ortega and Max fought for 23 minutes, of which Max won 23 minutes. Nothing against Ortega. What I'm suggesting for you, if now we've waited on Max, we've sat him out, we are not going to be able to contest Ortega Volkanovski, realize we got a surprise outcome, and then go, the bet's off, and Max is now going to fight this guy, or Ortega's going to rematch Volkanovski. Just by example. Just for an example. Holding Max has to be a reasonable thought that you can get Max and Volkanovski together, but is that the move? Because let's say that our idea of why, let's say the genesis, the driving idea of why we're going to do this is because Max was wronged in his last match with Volkanovski, that the judges had it wrong, which the population thinks they did. But let's say that's our driving force. If Volkanovski beats him a third time, obviously we're not going to revisit that a fourth. Is that fair? Okay. So now you still have Max going through these same contenders that you're trying to keep him away from now. Okay. Or the other side of it, which is Max beats Volkanovski. Now they're 2-1. Volkanovski did Max not only a return favor with the second fight, he now did him an extra favor with the third fight, which means he's got the right to ask for a favor back. Do they go fight a fourth time? Maybe. But do you see where maybe we need to rethink this? Maybe we need to rethink this. Volkanovski is in the GOAT talk. And if he keeps racking up wins, particularly, just on his record alone, where I left off with Volkanovski, he was 16-0. I might have lost a fight. He could be to 17-0 by now. It's something crazy, but it's and I should mention the hardest possible path. He went through Mendez. He went through Aldo. He went to Max. He went to Max again. We're being told he's got to go through Ortega to draw back into Max a third. This is an incredible record, which has some parallels with Conor's record. Chad would be a great example. Aldo would be a great example. Max, come to think, Max is on both of their resumes. Is there any scenario where we get those two guys together? Even down the road, is that even something that you guys would want to see? I personally would not like to see a champ-champ fight unless a guy is vacating a belt. I just don't love the holding up of divisions when they're busy and competitive. I don't have that same opinion for Adesanya at 185. I like that he's moving up. I don't think we're holding up that division. I'm not seeing guys calling Adesanya out. I'm not seeing a whole lot of 85-pounders getting real busy to call Adesanya out. I'm not seeing 205-pounders starting to hedge their bet that Adesanya should win. I'm not seeing a lot of guys call Adesanya out. Which means, well, maybe he is a guy that can move around a little bit. But when you do start to look at Volkanovski, some of the parallels with Conor, it starts to be a little bit interesting. And Max's team weighed in, by the way. Max's coach weighed in on Max's weight. He said, I can tell you this, we are not staying at 45 forever. And Max has already dipped his little pinky toe in the waters of 155. He did it in a main event for a world title against Poirier, but it was a one-time. One time he pops up there, pops back down. I think he won 1 round out of 5. But Max's coach was offering the point of, look, we were never committed to that weight and we never had time to make it. He then even compared Max to John Jones. He said, you give us a chance like John Jones is getting. We will go put on the size. We will be the right. So we aren't worse than the 55, but we just weren't quite big enough for 55. I'm listening to his coach. I think that's fair. I think it's true. I mean, the mere fact that Max could drop right back down to 45 time and time again after the 55-pound fight shows that he never gained the weight. He never bulked up and put on the pounds. And Max, as youthful as he is, you guys might want to go look at how old he is. Max is very young. He's just accomplished a lot. Max was, I believe, the youngest guy in the UFC at one point. At 20 years old, I believe he was the youngest guy at that time signed in the UFC. There might have been guys that have done it younger. They weren't under contract at that time. But I remember that announcement being made when Max went out to fight with Conor, that Max was the youngest guy. I only bring that to you because that is Max, 27? He's 27 right now. If I'm wrong, he's 28. Young guy. So he is going to get bigger with time. That's true. And the immersion of Max at 155 is something that's very exciting, but I'm only offering that because if Max is going to do it, Volkanovski could well do it too. If we get to that point, I'd like to see him give up the belt. I wouldn't mind seeing Volkanovski and Conor down the road. Wouldn't mind seeing that at all. And one of the things that has made Volkanovski so interesting for me is that he used to be a 96-kilo rugby player. 96 kilos, to put that in conversion into pounds, at 211 pounds. So wait, 211 pounds. Took that weight off, all ripped, all muscled up. So 155, sure. Sure, that's a reasonable weight for him if the right thing comes along, which is why I insert Conor McGregor. I don't think that the champion of the world needs to walk away or even wants to walk away. I'm hypothetically suggesting for you what it would take for him to walk away. And I'm doing this on the back of, by the way, this isn't me pulling this out of nowhere. Volkanovski did an interview 25 minutes ago where he talked about what it would take to fight Conor. He's just very open about it. He wasn't trying to pull any of the capers that everybody tries to pull. Volkanovski said it. He said, man, you'd be foolish to not take on Conor. There's a bunch of attention and a bunch of money. Sure, I'd take on Conor. But that was the real answer. That was the real truthful answer that no fighter ever wants to give. There's something refreshing about it when Volk did it. I'm adding to his story.